Heartbreaking, showing thousands of dead cattle.
Yeah, that video has gone viral, being shared on Facebook more than 50,000 times. And now the Kansas Livestock Association says what happened is devastating. KAKE's Eli Higgins joins us now in the studio. Eli, this is obviously horrible. So what happened?
Yeah, Kitty, well, cattle die from weather around this time every year. We're told any one of last weekend's weather events wouldn't have been a problem. It was the combination of several things at once. Shocking videos like this spread like wildfire Wednesday, claiming a heat wave killed these cattle in southwest Kansas. And headlines like this claimed more than 10,000 head died. It left many people wondering if it's even real.
I have seen some of the videos around, and it's certainly not something that you ever want to see or something that you ever want to deal with.
Turns out it is real. Scarlett Higgins with the Kansas Livestock Association says while she doesn't have exact numbers, thousands of cattle did die from heat stress across an area near Ulysses. She says there was a sharp temperature increase in a short amount of time, on top of a humidity increase and little to no wind.
If you add all of those things together in such a short amount of time, it led to cattle suffering from some heat stress in that area of the state.
This is a feedlot. What happened with my perspective and some context on maybe what could have killed those cattle. So the video in question is a video in southwest Kansas, a feedlot. Like 2,000 or 3,000 head died on that feedlot in one day, overnight. And so there's been a number going around of 10,000, but that number is across the entire state of Kansas. So and that number is much less suspicious. That 10,000 head across the entire state of Kansas due to a weather event is not out of the ordinary. We have 2.4 million cattle in Kansas, so that 10,000 number is not suspicious to me. The 3,000 head I was definitely suspicious of and wanted to look more into it, and obviously a lot of other people are suspicious about it, as you should be. There's lots of things to be suspicious, some reasonable explanations for what went on to kill those cattle. So first of all, southwest Kansas is known for its low humidity. It almost always has wind. The climate is very favorable to raising and feeding cattle. That is why there are so many huge feedlots down there. It is ideal for raising feedlot cattle, especially fat cattle that are about to go to slaughter. Those were the cattle that died. They're big, big animals they've been fattened, and so that's part of why they were susceptible, is because of how big they were. When cattle get that big right at the end of their lives, they are susceptible to heat for sure. So that's part of it. The other part of it is that southwest Kansas had not experienced normal weather at all. We have had a dry spell, and I'm in central Kansas. I'm not in southwest Kansas, but there's some similarities. We have had 8 months of dry weather. If you've been following this YouTube channel, we didn't get hardly any rain. There has been no humidity for 8 months, and there has been little rainfall. And all of these cattle that were at that feedlot, they were not used to humidity, and they were not used to high temperatures either, because it's been a pretty cool May and into June. It was pretty cool, and then we started getting rainfall, and we also started getting humidity, and so that, I think, is what made the cattle susceptible to dying. However, heat and humidity do not kill cattle. All around the United States, you have cattle in very harsh climates, very 110 degrees in Arizona. You got cattle and humidity in the east. It's not so much heat and humidity that kill cattle, it's change in heat and humidity. And as I said before, there was a change in what had been going on in southwest Kansas, and that's what made the cattle susceptible. Now, for 3,000 head in one feedlot to die in a single night is still pretty unbelievable, and I've seen that in a lot of comments. My theory on what happened is that there was a heat burst. I saw it tweeted a couple nights ago. There was a heat burst in southwest Kansas, and a heat burst is a weather phenomenon and it is not widespread. It happens in very small pockets, and it happens after a thunderstorm rolls through, which that had happened that night. And it's a weather phenomenon, so this rarely happens. This was a crazy event. It's like a tornado hitting a feedlot. It's no different. And the temperature jumped from being in the 80s. This was after dark. It jumped from being in the 80s to being over 100 degrees at midnight in the dark. It was over 100 degrees. And if you think about what that would do to cattle, if you think about what that would do to livestock, it would be very hard for a hot day all the way through the day, and then their bodies are stressed, they're tired, they're susceptible, they need the cool night to cool off. And sometimes that's all that's keeping cattle from dying when it's that hot, and there's been that much change is the being able to cool off at night. Well, just as they thought they were cooling off, their systems thought that they were going to get a break, that temperature shot back to over 100 degrees. I think that's what killed those cattle. I don't know for sure, and we probably won't find out for a couple days, but everyone is jumping to conclusions and saying that, oh, this wasn't heat, this was this was somebody poisoned the cattle, or this is the government's attempt to control the food supply. And I'm not saying you shouldn't ask those questions, but what I'm saying is that the evidence points to it most likely being heat. The animal health index going into this week was the worst it has been in 10-20 years. We knew that animals were susceptible. Now on our farm we didn't lose cattle, but that's because we didn't have those heat bursts. But across the entire state of Kansas, 10,000 head died. So this hit other places too, but it's very rare that you see more than a few head die at each farm. It's very rare that you see thousands of head die at a single farm. And so that's where my heat burst theory comes in. But as far
All right, Shalom. This is Harold One by Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amaf. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, Nagwatim, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, so you heard it for yourself, man. You see the agenda that they're pushing. You know, something they call a false flag. A false flag can be a natural occurring event, or it could be something done on purpose by Esau or these heathens, you know, or it can be, as I said, a natural occurring event, and then Esau uses that event to push it in the media as part of their agenda. Now, I believe this is one of those situations. They knew about it. They know about certain weather events coming up, just like the farmers do. And then they use it for their agenda dealing with global warming. All right, allegedly. Because that's the next thing they're pushing, global warming. All right, they want lockdowns. They want lockdowns for it. And that's the next step in their system of control. All right, global warming, trying to say the earth is heating up, and that's what killed the cattle. So with that being said, if the earth's heating up, and it's because of the carbon, carbon emissions, then they would try to say, hey, humans breathe out too much carbon, so we got to lower the carbon emissions. What does that mean? Lockdowns, or putting people to death. All right. So that's why they're using this in the media, saying, yeah, it was just the heat. They're not explaining what happened. That there was a heat burst that naturally occurs in, I think it was Kansas, he said. And that night, it was over 100 degrees at nighttime, and it was a heat burst. And it happened because it's it's been a long dry season, and out of nowhere it switched to humidity. And with that humidity, as you know, it's been a heat wave. It comes a lot of heat, all right? And he said it usually happens, it always happens but not so many die in one area. That probably comes from mismanagement by that farmer at that time. Who knows, man? But he said a lot of the cattle that died, they were fattened up, ready to be slaughtered, so they wouldn't make it. They wouldn't make it through that type of heat anyway. All right, but they're using this, and they're just saying heat. It was hot. The heat did it, and they can use that and say what? Global warming. All right. So we can't trust these devils. All right. Pastor Harger did a lesson the other day. The simple belief of every word. It says this, 2 Thessalonians 2:8. So this was done by the Lord. Either way, if the Lord uses Esau to do it, it's still Most High controlling it. But a weather event like this, that was the Most High controlling that one. That was the Most High putting the curse of plague on their cattle. Natural current event. Anything natural, it's from the Lord. All right. Anything from man, the Lord controlled them and used them to do it. But in this case, this was directly from the Lord, man. A weather event. Then middle of the night, the storm came through like a tornado, almost, he said, with heat. And it just turned the temperature up to over 100 something in the middle of the night. On fattened cattle. All right, 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. So that their lies are being consumed with the truth. Their wickedness is being consumed with righteousness, this word. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, man, when he shows up. It's going to be like the day, pushing away the night. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. See, everything they do is adversarial to the Lord, to our purpose. And all working of Satan with all powers and signs and lying wonders. All right, the scriptures call Esau the prince of the power of the air, man. They got weather manipulation weapons. But I truly don't believe this was one of those situations. They got their witches, their warlocks, their scientists, astrologies and all that watch the weather. And they know when certain events are coming up, just like FLU season, You know what I'm saying? Or allergy season. They know when that's coming around, they can use that. So, do I believe they're messing with the sun, which could cause extreme heat bursts? Yeah, maybe. How are they messing with the sun? They're putting what you call barium oxide or chemtrails out in the sky, which shoot the sun's rays back at itself, which causes more pressure and extreme weather events upon the earth. All right, so, and with all deceivableness and of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, man. So that's why people believe anything that the media says, man. They say they were poisoned. Then they say, yeah, they were, it was just the heat. It was global warming. Instead of doing the research and seeing what the farmers are saying about it, that's what I decided to do. Just looked up different farmers to see what they're saying. And most of the farmers are saying, yo, this was a natural occurring event, but it just happened out of nowhere because of that heat wave that came through in the middle of the night. With the humidity and all the fattened cows that were prepared to be slaughtered. And he said it was like 10,000 across the whole state, so that's not a lot. But he said when it's like centralized to one area with 3,000, that's what he's saying. That's what spooked everybody. But that could happen with the heat. All right. first thing I was thinking was the watering system. Maybe all those cows drank from the same poison water or bad water, you know. But that's not it, man. It's just Most High judging this place, man. Like, you know. All right, this is Matthew 10 and 29. It says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing?" All right, and this scripture is talking about Israel, the elect, and how important they are to the Lord, you know. But you'll get the point. Check this out. "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing?" And a farthing is a Roman penny. All right, it'd be like today would be about 1.5%, 1.5 cents, okay, or half of a penny. So 2 sparrows were sold for that much, basically for nothing. "And one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father." All right, so nothing falls on this ground and dies without the Father knowing it. So all those cattle dropping, the Most High was in the midst. It's Amos 3 and 6. "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it?" You know? So, either way, the Most High, even if it's Esau doing it, the Most High controlling Esau. All right? The weather event, the Most High definitely controlling it. This is Isaiah 29 and 6. "Thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder." And what comes with thunder? Storms and heat. You know? And with earthquakes and great noise, and with storm and tempest, and the flame of devouring fire, man. All right? So you have the wildfires, you know? So the Lord is bringing the hurricanes, the tempests, the storms, the thunder, the earthquakes, and the heat that comes with it. All right, this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 18. 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days?" All right. Now let's start from 14. "Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, and shall not be put out until they consume the foundation of the earth." So the Lord already got the fire kindled. You know, he got everything going. And just like the plagues that came upon Egypt, the Lord is bringing them upon this spiritual Egypt. All right. Like as verse 16, "Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, so even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again." And ultimately talking about the missiles, but the plagues are talking about judgments. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine." So when there's lack of cattle and food, famine. "And great death." All right. "The beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear." So we're seeing the beginning of the wars kicking off, and the powers becoming afraid of their own intentions. "The beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come?" Right? The Lord said, "Shall be evil done in the city, and the Lord have not done it?" So the Most High creates good and evil. All right, what you call bad things. "Behold, famine and plague." What comes with cattle dying? What comes with crops dying? What comes with drought? You know, it comes famine and plagues happen, man. Okay, people get sick. "Tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." Now, you know, also, you got people like Bill Gates that created that future meat. It's like fake meat. And he cornered the market. He bought up all the seeds and all the 90% of the farms in America. All right. So, and this would be a perfect opportunity for them to start weaning people into their fake meat that they're coming out with. All right. So anybody want to do a lesson on that? With Bill Gates and his fake beef that they're trying to establish, and people like China did it. They using actual poop, human feces, turn it into steak or meat. All right, and they approved it in America. So you see where it's going. You know, do away with the real cattle and bring in the fake meat. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, that's why it's sent, man. All these things are sent to put fear in people, so people will repent and say, "Whoa, these things are happening, man. The Lord said it was going to happen. The judgments, you know, how do I get prepared? Who will deliver me in those days? But for all these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges." All right. All right. So they're not mindful of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and how he delivered us from Egypt, and how he brought curses upon those Egyptians, you know, and upon their cattle. Well, the Lord said he's going to do that. Let me get this. All right, I'm just getting to the story first. Exodus 9:1. Then Yahweh said unto Moses, Go in unto Pharaoh and tell him, Thus saith Yahweh, the power of the Hebrews, let my people go, that they may serve me. And now Esau represents that Pharaoh today, of the spiritual Egypt. For if thou refuse to let them go and wilt hold them still, behold, the hand of Yahweh is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxes, upon the sheep, and there shall be a very grievous murrain. All right, now word murrain is what? Pestilence, cattle disease, a cattle plague, in the sense of destroying. All right, so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the cattle get destroyed in an abnormal sense, man. 3,001 concentrated area or farm died in one night off of a freak weather event that was controlled by the Lord, really. Verse 2, for if thou refuse to let them go and will hold them still, and that's what Esau doing, they put more pressure on us, just like the Pharaoh of Egypt. Instead of letting us go, Esau want to go further and get rid of us so he can keep the birthright. All right, get the birthright back from Jacob. Behold, the hand of the Lord is upon thy cattle, which is in the field, man, upon the horses, upon the asses, upon the camels, upon the oxen, and upon the sheep. And there shall be a very grievous pestilence. And Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, man. All right, and that's when the Lord destroyed all their cattle, and he had a covering over our cattle. All right, so our cattle lived and their cattle and animals died. So that shows that the Lord controls what happens, man, the issues of death. The Lord controls the plagues that are sent upon their cattle. All right, and the Lord said a sword is upon their waters, a sword is upon their horses, you know, and their cattle. And Yahweh shall sever between the cattle of Israel and the cattle of Egypt, and there shall nothing die of all that is the children of Israel. So today we don't have cattle. So what he's saying right there is the elect are not going to worry in the time of famine, when there's no food, there's no meat, there's no beef, there's no chicken, there's no salad, no fruit, no water. The Most High said the elect shall eat, and All right, real quick. Job 5:19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee, man. So the Lord said in 6 troubles, that means before the missiles hit, the Lord going to start delivering his elect, giving them power and covering and miraculous protection. So remember, the Lord said he creates the evil. All right. And he said what? In 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, meaning keep you from dying. And in war from the power of the sword, man. All right, so, verse 22, at destruction and at famine thou shalt laugh. Neither shalt thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. All right. So there's going to be a lot of destruction here and a lot of famine. This is 2nd Ezra 15:10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter, man. They believe in every word that Esau says, man, these media. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. So the elect are going to be delivered. The Lord's going to shorten the time to deliver his elect. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. So he's going to send Yahushua to come and get us. All right. And the Lord's going to what? He's going to smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. All right, so the Lord is smiting this place with the plagues, man. All right, the judgments, and ultimately the Lord's going to destroy the whole land. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that Yahweh shall bring upon it. And today, this place, the Golden City, is known as Babylon, spiritually Nineveh, and also spiritually Egypt. All right, so this place is being smitten with the plagues and punishment that Yahweh is bringing upon it.